So in this video, we're going to look at the next little tab along on the bottom of the home page here, and it's called Control. And basically, this is a graphic image of the real-time sliders and buttons over on the left-hand side here. Now, these sliders and these buttons perform different functions depending on the button pressed here. So in main, we can see if we put it onto the top light, which means we're talking about the sliders. If you put it on the bottom light, we're referring to the buttons below the little OLED screen there. So I'm going to go onto the volume sliders here, and the first volume slider, well, actually it's the last one, number 9, but the nearest one to the screen, says keys. That is the overall volume of all the keyboard parts. And obviously we can take that up and down, and if you look in the screen, it's linked with the graphic there. Then we've got the volumes for player 1 and player 2, and don't forget, this effectively will be song playback volume, or more importantly now, style volume. We have a volume control for the pads, etc, etc. It's all labelled up there. Now with the little OLED screen, yes, we've got real-time sliders, but I can't see the functions of the buttons here until I actually flick the view down to the bottom. Now the lettering has changed here, and these basically work as on-off buttons now. But actually, if you look at the graphic, even while we're looking at the volume controls, we can visibly see the buttons and their functions are labelled up here. So if I suddenly want to, say, switch the mic on and off, we'll go there, and it's actually worked in tandem with the lights over here. Now, obviously, these functions will change depending on the category you've chosen here. So if we go to keyboard and pad, now we can see, yes, we've got keys still, which is a really useful slider because that alters the volume of upper 1, upper 2, upper 3, and the lower, all in unison with themselves, but it's an overall volume. Or now we can see we've got individual volumes for upper 1, upper 2, upper 3. And this is what I love about the PA5X. We can either alter it on the screen, or we can come across to our slider here and we can do exactly the same, and we can see the value that's there. If we go to style, then we've got the volumes for all the accompaniment parts, but we've still got keys at the end. So that's great, because when you're mixing the style, you mix the style relative to what's going on the right hand. So we've still got that really useful keys one there. We've then got easy edit. So this is some real-time sound controls, attack, decay, release, resonance. You've got LFO, which is like putting vibrato on things. You've got depth, speed and delay, and portamento time. So again, if you want to do a little bit of sound editing on the fly, that's great. The user one I'm not going to cover on this video because I'm going to do a separate video for that on its own. So the tab that says Control is in fact a mirror image of what's going on with the physical buttons and sliders and the little OLED screen here. Choose whichever works for you, and that's the beauty. You have that choice, but you've got amazing control over all of the sections, and you can very quickly, so if we go into style, for instance, I can very quickly mute parts, or I can very quickly adjust the volume of a part. And everything that we do here will work in tandem with that, and everything we do there will work in tandem with that. You may have something else important on the display, so you use the physical sliders. If you're sitting making a setting up, you may prefer to just look straight on at the screen. Choice is yours. But that's what the control tab does on the PA5X.